Well, hello everyone. I'm Chris Kyle, and I'm happy to be here with you for my final video in the Shaping Your Future video series. And this is story change number 4. Hopefully, you've had a chance to see the first 3 videos and those first 3 story changes. And now I'm going to dive into the final one today. And again, when we talk about shaping the future, it's really about all of us collectively and doing our individual work to really help change the outdated stories, the cultural stories that no longer serve us. That's really the goal, is keep evolving ourselves and evolving the world by creating new, more empowering, more inclusive, more compassionate, more enlivening stories for our times. And boy, do we need to do that now. The chaos and the intensity and the challenges of our times are really asking of us to really step up, to really step up to another level in terms of giving our gifts, giving our talents, bringing our purpose forward into the world. It's not time to sit on the sidelines anymore. I'm not saying you are sitting on the sidelines. I'm certainly not sitting on the sidelines, but there is that quality of kind of sitting back and waiting, seeing what happens, maybe reacting to something rather than powerfully choose a pathway. Like, well, maybe if this happens and that happens, then I can go do this. Or if that happens and this happens, that happens, then maybe I can make this happen in my life. So it's time. It's really time to begin the process of living more fully from a place of purpose and a place of service, giving ourselves to help change the world. And as one famous writer wrote, is that I give my gifts, I give my gifts, I keep giving, I give until I die. And, that's kind of what makes life wonderful and juicy and full, is when I keep giving of myself out into the world from my heart, from my passions, and from my gift. So as we explore this final story change number 4, just want you to think about that. As I've named these stories, there could be a bunch more and dozens more that you would point to as important story changes. And that's wonderful. I think there's so much to be able to evolve and shift and change in our culture. And you may have your own particular flavor of what stories you want to change in your own life or out in our world and in the culture. So here we go. So we're going to explore story change number 4. And this is the big one. I don't know if you've noticed, but I started at 1 was sort of the kind of external success. What does success mean for our lives? Success in terms of money and power, and then redefining that, this new emerging story coming out of that. And then underneath that was the story, letting go of the story that there's not enough. And then under that, letting go of the story of being in control creates safety. Having control creates safety. And then now we go even 1 layer deeper. And this might be pretty metaphysical for you, spiritual for you, but I think it's an important one. I think it's an important underlying story in our entire culture that we don't even question or look at, other than possibly on the spiritual path. And so story change number 4 is letting go of the story of separateness. Letting go of the story of separateness, that I am separate from you. That there is this I, and this I needs all this stuff. And you're an I, and you need all the things you need. And if you're not getting what you need from me, then you'll leave me or complain or get divorced, whatever. That this ongoing experience of being human, and it's still a story, it's a story that we buy into, is that I am separate from you. That I am here, you are over there. You want this, I want that. You need this, I need that. I can do it on my own. Oh, you can do it on your own. I don't need you. Those are all the stories. Those are all the stories of separateness. And so the challenge for us right now with that story is to begin to look at what are the things that keep me separate and that keep us separate, that keep creating the differences. Now, honoring the differences, but keep creating the differences where I keep establishing myself as other from you, as separate from you, as something that needs to get something from you or the world because it's not safe, or I need to control my environment, and I need to have this sense of separate self so that I can feel contained and separate in a separate unit. So how do we look at the emerging story here? The emerging story is that at the most fundamental level, as beings on this planet, is that we are interconnected and interwoven in every way, that we aren't separate, that we're connected into the web of life. We're connected to each other in so many ways that we can't see. Some of it is a spiritual message of interconnectedness. Some of it is, you would almost call an eco message, an environmental message of that everything we do is connected to everything else. Some people have talked about the butterfly effect. The butterfly wings flap in Africa and then create a tsunami off the coast of Japan. Like, what level of connectedness is possible that we can't see with our eyes, or even with our rational mind? So one of the things for our story to end in a good way, to evolve in a good way, is that we need to continue to keep looking at those things that keep me separate from you, me in competition with you, me needing something from you, you from me. And that in many cases we don't actually create a solution and a possibility and a way of being that's much more harmonious, that's more connected, and that has the possibility to create real change in our own lives, in our relationships, in our communities, and around the world. And so when we follow the path of our purpose, when we follow our inner knowing, when we trust the calling that's coming up from us, we trust that there is something that we're meant to give and bring here through our purpose, that begins to help to melt inside, to melt some of that separateness. That as I look to give more and more, as I said earlier, as I look to give and give my time and my energy and my gifts and talents to the world, as I do that, I begin to see more and more that I'm connected to everything. So I so appreciate you being here with me for these 4 videos. I encourage you to join us for our free live online event tomorrow called Shaping the Future, Living Your Purpose in Chaotic Times. So I appreciate, join me, and we'll have a lot of fun tomorrow night, and I've got some really interesting things to share with you. I really appreciate the Mankind Project USA supporting the program, and they are our core sponsor for this event. So we welcome you tomorrow night. Sign up. You can go to www.purposefromchaos.com or find it anywhere here on the page. If you're on Facebook, it's right at the top of the page and there's a blue button there. So look forward to seeing you. Thanks.